Ladies and gentlemen, we have talked a lot this week about Modern Warfare 2, specifically about the story of the game, some characters returning, and some new intel regarding Khalid al-Assad. But today we're going back into the multiplayer slash DMZ slash Warzone gameplay side of things to look at some individual features and rumors regarding the game and what is going to be happening over not just the next year, but the next 2 years, which is the first time ever we can actually say that before a Call of Duty game is released, which is pretty insane. Not to mention the first time that's happening in my memory completely with Call of Duty. So in regards to this, we have some information on a new feature that is returning. On top of that, we have some leaked gameplay. And finally, we have the talk about year 2 of Modern Warfare 2, which is crazy that we're already talking about that. So those are all of the things that we're going to dive into in this video. But first, let me tell you about today's video sponsor. So today's video is sponsored by Opera GX, and this one I'm excited about because number one, it is something that is absolutely free, and number two, it is something that I use every single day. Now, Opera GX is a web browser designed for people like us, gamers. If you're a content creator, it's great for that, a student, and the one main reason for that is something that they have called profiles. If you click the little settings button there, you can go to manage your profiles, and from here you can create a profile. You can name it whatever you want. So if you want it to be streaming, for example, you can set it up for that. You can choose a color to go with it, whatever you want. Let's go with blue. But then you can make a configuration. So you can go standard, or you can customize it. So you can go simply bare bones. If your PC is having trouble running your browser, that can help out. You clear your browsing data on exit. This is great if you're a streamer. You don't want people to see your personal details, things along those lines. They're super easy to set up. And once you do, you add the profile and boom, just like that, you're all set up and ready to go. It's great if you're doing schoolwork and don't want any distractions, things along those lines. Now, some other amazing features with this, if you're like me and you're checking Twitter for YouTube reasons or just want to stay in contact with people, you can pull up your Twitter feed right there, right then. It pulls up right alongside. Say you're browsing the web and want to listen to some tunes, you can click this button here and it'll pull up Spotify so you can listen to music while you browse. Let me show you what my favorite thing is about Opera GX. Say you are watching a YouTube video and then you want to go play a game or you want to go check out another thing in your browser. If I click off of Twitter and I'm playing a video, it will immediately pop up with this little pop-out window down below. You can drag this over top of whatever you want. You can watch your videos, listen to your videos or podcasts while you browse the web, or even on top of a game if you're playing a game. Now, Opera has a ton of other cool features. If you can change up the way that it looks, so you can switch over to purple haze or whatever colors that you like, and you can also force dark mode on a bunch of different websites that you can't normally have dark mode on to save your eyes a little bit. So if you want to check out Opera today, it's absolutely free. It's the first link down in the description. As I mentioned, I've been using this every single day since they sponsored the channel last. I really don't think that there is a better web browser out there. So first link down below, and they even have a mobile version too. It's called Opera GX Mobile. So if you're using the web browser on your phone, you can find it there as well. Definitely check it out. First link down below, and thank you Opera GX for sponsoring the video. All right, so to start things out, the first thing that we have is something that is returning from a previous Modern Warfare game, but coming back in Modern Warfare 2 in a different way. Now keep in mind, most of what we are talking about here is leaks, most of them from the Ghost of Hope, and he has been pretty reliable in the past. He's messed up a few things, but all in all, we can take him as a pretty reliable source when it comes to these things. The first thing that we have is intel drops. So this was something that was in Warzone, and it was actually one of my favorite things about Warzone. Every 2 weeks there'd be new intel that came out. You had to kind of go on a scavenger hunt finding these things, and it would fill in some holes regarding the story of Warzone and Modern Warfare itself, diving into some of the evil and good characters' backgrounds, and it added a lot to the lore of Warzone and Modern Warfare. Now apparently these are coming back, but this time they are coming back in a different way. Instead of being in Warzone, they're in DMZ. Now, it's rumored that most of the DMZ locations and maps and things like that will be locations on the Warzone map, so it'll kind of tie in that way, but this will give us kind of more story after the story ends in the campaign. And this is a fabulous thing to me. It's something that we'll be diving into for sure if this is actually true, but this is something that I think is very good for the game. One thing that I think Vanguard and Warzone this year did very poorly is keeping up with the story and adding to it and kind of making it more deep and ingrained in the Call of Duty lore with new characters, new villains, things along those lines. Intel did that in a way that wasn't overexerting itself on players. They didn't have to be a part of it, but for those who liked it, it added an interesting thing. You had to go in and actually actually get these things and fight in game for them. And on top of that, it added lore, which I of course love. So that is the first thing that apparently is coming back, but we don't know whether this will be at launch or they're going to release it as kind of DLC throughout week after week, or whether it's just going to be there at the beginning and we can get our teeth into it right away. But Intel is apparently making a return within DMZ. The thing after that we have is some leaked gameplay. Now, this is interesting because it was getting taken down by copyright strikes all over the place. People were putting it up on Twitter, their Twitters were getting taken down. And what's interesting is this is gameplay that I've already seen. This is something they showed us at the pre-briefing for Modern Warfare 2 months and months ago. And essentially it was a mission where people were on top of vehicles, jumping from vehicles, laying down on them, hiding behind cover on the vehicles. And essentially the reason why they showed us that is because one, it was a mission in the campaign, and two, because it is also a thing within Warzone. You can ride on top of vehicles, you can jump from vehicle to vehicle, you can land on top of them, things along those lines. And it's built into the campaign, and it's going to be built into Warzone as well. On top of this, they talked about features like shooting out tires, on top of that having to fill up gas tanks in your vehicles to actually use them, and it's an interesting way of adding this into the game. Now, whether it'll be part of DMZ more or Warzone more, at this point we don't really know, but that's essentially what this mission was showing off. The other two things that it showed was swimming and some firing with the MP7 as well. Other than that, not a lot to take away from it, and keep in mind, this is a real leak because I have seen it in person at Infinity Ward. Now, the last thing we have here is, in my opinion, the most interesting because it brings up some questions as to what is going to happen with Modern Warfare 2 after it launches. We can kind of expect the normal season system that we saw in the last 3 Call of Duty games, but then we have another year after, a year where we would normally get another Call of Duty, but we've been told that that is actually not happening, which is curious because they still said that there's going to be some sort of premium Call of Duty content happening after this point. We just don't know what. However, the Ghost of Hope leaked saying that during this time there's going to be essentially a giant map pack coming out with all of the original Modern Warfare 2 maps. All of them, the ones that were in the OG Modern Warfare 2, all coming out at once, and we can expect to see some sort of event with this, probably old school weapons from that game added in as well. On top of that, all of the maps. However, it's weird because Charlie Intel, which is basically where the big Call of Duty news always comes from, essentially said that this premier Call of Duty content coming out next year will not be related to Modern Warfare 2. So whether that be a Call of Duty mobile or Warzone mobile or something along those lines, it could be something like that or something completely brand new, but it won't directly be a tie-in to Modern Warfare 2. So yes, we might get all of these maps, but still might not be the premium content coming that year. The question is at this point, what will that content be? How will it come out? When will it come out? And everything like that. So essentially over this week, those are the 3 big leaks that we have had. One regarding gameplay with Intel. We also had the leaked gameplay jumping from vehicle to vehicle, followed up by what is happening during year 2 of Modern Warfare. This is everything we know as of right now. Wanted to keep you filled in. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date on everything. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making it.